This project has been on the list for quite some time, and finally it's here with me in the shop. So, let's build it. Bonjour, 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 bonjour. There goes the maker with his tools like always, making new things to sand and sell. Today in the shop, we are building the big kid version of a tape dispenser. It holds the bigger, wider pieces of painter's tape, packer's tape, whatever you want to put inside of there, so that you can easily get your piece of tape, label something, use it to hold down whatever you're doing. Painter's tape is a great thing to use and have around the shop, and it beats trying to find that little line and picking at it, and you're going to rip it off, and this is completely full of sawdust from you setting it down on the workbench. All kinds of cool things that you can do with one of these. And originally I had just built it out of a little bit of a 4-foot by 8-foot sheet I had left over and was using that just birch plywood. Now I've got some other wood scraps so that way I can kind of experiment with some colors, get some contrast. This piece of mahogany, which is beautiful, this piece I didn't notice when I picked it up that it's a very light, grossish color. So I'm going to use that because why not? I've got a little bit of poplar, I've got a piece of black walnut, and then for the outside pieces, since they are actually a 1/4 inch, not a 3/4, I have a piece of aspen and then an additional piece of oak. To get started, you will need to print off the plans, which will look different than these. They'll have the rest of the measurements and stuff in there. This is really what we're going for, is this guy there. So we're going to need 2 printouts of this. 2 printouts because one of them is the dotted lines. That is actually the center piece. And the other one is the full outside that you would see afterwards, because you got to have a cutout spot for the tape itself inside of there. Nothing over the top. Pretty basic thing. So you got it. I also picked up one of these tape dispensers, $1.25 at the old Dollar Tree, and it just has this little serrated tape cutter spot. It's the perfect width because it's the same tape width that I have, and I just nail it into place on the front here. Now, if you guys don't want to buy one of these, or if you have one laying around, you can also use an old jigsaw blade if you want to cut it to size and drill holes. Just know that that metal is tempered, or whatever they call it, and it's impossible to drill through. But you can give it a shot if you'd like. Otherwise, go grab the Reynolds wrap out of the kitchen. It's got a serrated edge on the front of that too. To start, you're going to cut out the main profile of your plan's tape dispenser. You will need 3 pieces 3/4 inches thick for the interior and 2 thinner 1/4 inch pieces for the exterior. If you are working with new longer boards, cut them down so that they are at least 5 inches by 8.5 inches. Don't worry if they are a little bigger, we will be cutting them down to size after glue up. With our pieces cut to size, you can kind of see our tape dispensers beginning to take form. So this, I just want to get rid of the rest of this mahogany piece. It's gross. So I'm going to leave these 2 chunky pieces on the outside. So all 3/4 inch. Might be kind of cool. I don't know. We'll find out. This guy, I had the poopy mahogany, and then I have a nice piece of mahogany in the center. Kind of gives it a cool contrast, plus the aspen on the outside. Could be pretty sweet. This guy, poplar and oak. I never have great luck with poplar, but we'll see. It's a piece I had laying around. And then this guy, the sandwich everybody wants to take a bite out of, black walnut and aspen. Pretty cool thing there. So with these cut down to size, everybody fits. It fits inside. Perfect. Now we are going to get rid of any of the 1/4 inch pieces, so we're just working with the centers. And technically, I get rid of these 2. Now we are left with just the interiors, and that's going to be the section that is the dotted line. So what we need to do is glue these guys up so that they are not separate pieces anymore. And to do that, what I'm going to use is just a trash bag. And I'm going to go grab a whole bunch of clamps and glue everybody up. Now that everything is dry, we're going to take all these clamps off that we, tightened on yesterday, building that muscle, whatever it's called. And now you have the blank or blanks for your tape dispenser. So on the tape dispenser, we are cutting out this centering spot, which on the plans here is the dotted line. Now, the dotted line is what the interior looks like at the end. I know the plans aren't going to look like this. They're going to be way nicer. This is a rough plan for me. And I did not cut out this little circle. I'm going to leave it on there in case you guys wanted to cut it out. It doesn't impede the centering dowel, none of that. And I just didn't want it to look blocky. This one I don't feel is that blocky. So I think it looks all right without having this cut out. If you guys were using a Forstner bit or you just drilled a hole and used, a jigsaw, cut out the spots, those are cut out on your thinner boards. We're going to get to that later on. So to get the centers cut out, that is the dotted line. And when I made this one, I found out that during the creation, this is very hard to line up if you cut the interior and exterior pieces out separately. So what I am going to do this round is I'm going to cut out this center spot, but I'm going to just cut it out and then I'm going to just cut it straight. And then once everything's glued and put together, that's where I'll come back through and we'll cut this spot out. Not just so there's less time that you have to spend sanding that, because it was a pain. Again, lining them up in the center just because there's glue and there's crap around everywhere. And when you're gluing these up, it doesn't matter what the outside is looking like because you are cutting almost everything straight. So get your piece, lay it down, and we're going to just trace around all of the bits. Now, if you don't want to trace around everything, you do have the option. You can take a little bit of spray adhesive and spray this on the top and just stick it down. That's what a lot of people do. Since you aren't reusing this piece again, you just got to sand it off afterwards. Now we flip over to the bandsaw, see what I did there, to cut out the interior shape. This is pretty close to the largest job this little bandsaw can handle. And as always, keep a close location lock on those hand toes. With our interior pieces cut to size, it's time to move on to the two boards that you are using for the exterior. And might I say that some of the scrap pieces are pretty adorable. Like this looks like it's a little tape measure, and you'll be like, "Hey Aaron, how long is this board?" And you'll be like, "It's 5 inches long." So we're going to make the outside boards. Now that doesn't matter if you guys had picked out a chunky boy or if you're using a thinner piece of stock. These guys do have a lot of real estate space, and that's just so I can align and put my pieces where I want them at. I avoid any cuts or any gross spots. You know how it goes. Because the last thing you guys want is to glue up your board like this. Because that would be a nightmare. You're going to have to sand all of this off or recut it. Gross. Now, these you are going to cut out on that solid line. Again, this we are worrying about dead last, but these you can line up on the bottom board if you wanted to. And what I like to do with these is I don't use the spray adhesive and put it onto here because that's a lot of extra sanding since it's on the exterior. These will be pretty quick to knock off on the belt sander. It's like the 4th time I've fetched a pencil in this video. What I do for these is I just trace them so I'm about a 1/16 of an inch on the outside. And you're doing that because once again, I'm gluing them up. I don't want them to be shorter. I always want them to be longer. And it's easier to sand off 2 little 1/4 inch pieces than to do anything else. So for these, again, bypass all of this interior for now. And outline your piece. It's going to look something like that. Not like the tape dispenser at all. And that is so when it gets lined up, there is plenty, work with me, there is plenty of room around the outside so that I can get everything lined how I need it to be. Could you also leave it like this and use a flush cut bit? No, you couldn't because of this big open inside. So the outsides, sure, you could run a bit around there. It'd save you a little bit of time. I just do all of it on the sander. It does not take long. I did it for this guy. I'm going to get these all glued together, and I will see you guys again, guess when? Tomorrow. 20-minute video takes me freaking 16 days to record it. Man, China's built bridges faster than this project's taken me. And back out to the garage the next day, undo all those clamps. How exciting is this? And you are on to this step, which I kind of call the cleanup stage, because you're going to have some glue inside. You're just going to run a chisel backwards. It kind of cleans that up for me. You're going to have some wood sticking out everywhere with some glue. If you guys are really careful, you can go back to the bandsaw and just kiss that little bit off so there's not as much sanding. And then I hit it on the belt sander one more time just to get everything nice and smooth like it was on this one. So again, it looks like one continuous piece, and that's another reason I don't care so much to use the flush cut bit, and that's just because these glue spots, and if this wasn't cut perfectly straight, it's going to mimic that on the outside, and I just like everything to sit nice and square, so I run it on the sander instead. Oh, my baby. Look at how perfect this one is coming along. Don't look at the inside yet. Just look at him. Honestly, they are all coming along super nice. Now, the problem is that this chunky boy doesn't fit in my bandsaw. So my bandsaw literally needs an extra 1/8 of an inch to get this to fit underneath that thingy that you raise and lower the guides. I don't know the terminology. But this one is too thick. So I'm going to have to take this over to my dad's house because I can't take it to my grandpa's house because one of these is going to be a gift for him because it's his birthday coming up, and that's where the tape dispenser deals come into play. So everybody say happy birthday Grandpa Jim if you wanted to, or happy birthday Jim works too. But I'm going to let him pick out which one of these he likes the most and keep it. Please don't pick this one, okay? I like this one. Next is going to be cutting out this little wedge like I talked about earlier. We skipped it just so that these two match up perfectly. This all matches up perfectly. It's going to save us a lot of time doing it this way right now. So on our pieces, what we need to do, I don't want to start with that one, is we're going to take this little guy, put your plans back on top of there. All I do is I make a little notch because I don't want to be drawing this and it move and now it's not perfectly straight. So I just put little tick marks. I hate ticks, but tick marks on here nonetheless. And then I just draw them with a straight edge just to make sure everything is as fine-tuned as it possibly can be. To there, to there. Just like so. And with this, we can cut it out on the bandsaw. I don't need to worry about matching it to this side because I will be cutting through the entire thing. So I'm going to sketch them up onto here, get those cut over at the bandsaw. You'll see everything done here in a moment. Now, whether you're using clear tape or painter's tape, you will need to cut out a blank for the inside to roll. And I did attempt to use my hole saw to cut out a circle from the blanks that were the centers, just so that the wood would match. Now, what I had come to find out is two things. One, yeah, it worked, but it's not the same size as my roll of tape, so this is liable to spin without this spinning. I didn't like that idea. Second, it's the exact same size as the interior blanks, so it won't actually fit down in there to where you'd have to sand these, and this one being plywood, it wouldn't turn out correctly. So I did scrap that idea. Now, how I had ended up cutting these out is I took a scrap piece of 2x4, set it to 3.5 inches on the miter saw, cut out a nice little square, set my painter's tape on top so that way I could trace out the exact size circle I would need. Then moved over to the bandsaw, cut around that circle, making sure that my hand toes were kept at a nice safe distance. And you are left with one of these blanks. Now, I made mine so that they are pretty snug inside of there so that they don't want to spin around, and this entire thing will spin on the dowel rod instead of the painter's tape spinning around without that. I just thought it would look less professional if this was just chilling on its own. So the entire thing will freely spin around. The only issue with not using a hole saw is now I don't have that exact center. So to fix that, you make what's called a wooden butthole on the piece of wood. Now to achieve this, you're going to take this piece of blank and set it up against the side of your scrap 2x4, place a pencil up against there, and just kind of move it back and forth while rotating it, so that way you find what would be closer to the center than what you had before. And you can do this with any dowel, anything that's round, and that's going to help you find the center. So now I know this is as close to the center as I could be. Rookie move. When I made this one, I actually cut my dowel rod, and I cut the end of my dowel rod off so I didn't work around the sticker spot. I usually leave the stickers on so I know how big my dowel rods are. So luckily it was in the scrap bin. This guy is 3/8 of an inch. So I'm going to use a 5/16 or something just bigger for the center. That way it spins freely. And then I'm going to use that 3/8 on the side so that it fits nice and snug and it doesn't want to fall out. Now on the plans, you don't have to use a 3/8 dowel. It is a small pinhole spot just so you can mark and drill out however big or small of a dowel rod you are using for this project. Just so happens I have a 3/8. Then you're going to take your dowel rod and either cut it flush with the sides, or you can leave it to be just about a 1/16 of an inch over, and that's what I tend to do. I kind of like that look of having the dowel rod stick out. And as long as it looks like it's supposed to be like that, people won't question you. This is where safety kind of takes a back seat because we do a little bit of shady stuff. It gets a little scary here in a moment. So I did get a hacksaw blade, and that I'm going to mount to this longer, wider piece. And that's just because these guys are thinner, and this would look kind of silly, I think, to have a thinner piece on there. So I did cut the hacksaw blade up. I think it'll look pretty cool, being that darker color. Sweet. Now, we're going to take our tape dispenser rolls. If you're using Reynolds wrap, good for you. Now, you got to take a blade and you're going to cut away these little pieces. When I did it earlier, I actually used a chisel. So that was, I think, a little more scary than this. But there's one. And with those, what we are going to do is just line it up so the little teeth stick just over the edge. You can put it on the top. You can put it on the front. It's completely up to you. Now, if you are putting them on the front, just know that your nails have to follow this. They can't go straight down, because if they go straight down, they start poking out of your material. Anyway, you get the concept. And then hammer that bad boy down. I wait to do this so that when I'm done staining these, then I'm going to put this on the top just so I don't have to deal with this cutting me or my rag or getting stained. And one more thing before we go, because I feel like it is important. Why did I have to glue the sides instead of nailing them in place? Why'd you glue them, Aaron? Well, let me tell you guys, because I was using this same method of just popping some screws down in the sides, right? And the little holes are on there, and it broke. And I said, oh no. So I went back through and I started cutting another one, and guess what? Oh no. They're fragile. These are fragile. And I'm weak. So they break off of there pretty easy, and that's why I glued them. So just remember, these are fragile, and that's why I cut this last. It's because then I don't have to worry about it. And here is the final product. I just did a clear coat on these. I didn't do anything fancy. I didn't want the stains to contradict the other piece of wood and make them look bad. Hey everybody, thank you so much for checking out this content. My goal is to hit 100,000 subscribers by the end of 2024. So a like would be greatly appreciated. And for the 70% of viewers who are not yet subscribed, go ahead and click on that beautiful man right there, so that way you're not missing out on awesome content like this in the future. Again, thank you so much. All right, it's over. The video's over. You can watch another one if you'd like. Bye.